Tonight, shattered dreams.
Police officers should also consider this not as a weapon but as an article of faith.
A Winnipeg man speaks out after being denied entry to write the police recruitment exam over his Kirpan. What a professional ethics professor thinks. Also tonight.
Get her done. Just get it done.
You've probably got one in the mail, but do you have to respond? And what happens if you don't? All your questions about the 2026 census answered. Plus, high and dry.
It could potentially be devastating to all aquatic sports in the province.
An extended closure of the city's Pan Am pool leaves many wondering where they'll dive in next.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Hendricks. Marilee is away. A Winnipeg man's dream of becoming a police officer has been shattered, all because of restrictions tied to a religious item that he's required to wear. And tonight, he's speaking out, hoping his story sparks change for others in the same situation. CTV's Daniel Halmerson joins us now live to explain. So, Danny, just how did this religious item stand in the way of becoming a police officer?
Well, John, Jaspal Singh Gill says he was asked to remove his kirpan. It's a dagger Khalsa Sikhs are required to wear 24/7. When he showed up at police headquarters last week to write a recruitment exam, he refused to take it off and now says his charter rights were violated. Jaspal Singh Gill wants to become a police officer as a way to serve community.
My long-standing personal goal was to join police service because my grandfather and father were police officers back in India.
So when he was invited to write the Winnipeg Police Service recruitment exam last week, he jumped at the chance. But Singh Gill says he never put pen to paper.
Recruitment officer came to me and they told me you have to take off your kirpan in order to give the examination.
The kirpan, this small sheathed dagger, is one of the 5 articles of faith that a Sikh must wear at all times.
We wear it that symbolize courage and our responsibility to fight against injustice.
Singh Gill says he was told he wouldn't be allowed to write the exam unless he handed his kirpan over, so he chose to leave.
I have to, my dream got shattered at that time. I believe that's discrimination because all other participants were allowed, but I was not allowed just because I was wearing a kirpan, which is an article of faith in Sikhism.
In a statement to CTV News, a Winnipeg police spokesperson says in part the individual was offered secure storage options for the kirpan but declined the accommodation. It also says the service welcomes applicants from diverse backgrounds in religious communities, and the option to securely store a kirpan has been accepted by many in the past. But Singh Gill says police infringed on his charter rights, pointing to a Supreme Court of Canada decision which says banning Sikhs from carrying kirpans violates freedom of religion.
The Khalsa are allowed to wear kirpan in courthouse, are allowed to wear kirpan in assembly, are allowed to wear kirpan in domestic flights.
Now Singh Gill may file a complaint with the Human Rights Commission.
Given that we have a Supreme Court precedent that was fairly clear, I think that his odds are probably quite good in a court process.
Neil MacArthur, a professor at the University of Manitoba, says Singh Gill should have been offered reasonable accommodation to write the exam with his kirpan on his body.
If he became an officer, all the police services, including the RCMP, recognize that he can wear it in his line of duty. So why can someone wear a kirpan in their line of duty and not in the test to become an officer?
Singh has messaged an MLA and submitted a FIPA request to gather more information about the police services policy. And while he wants an apology from police, he also isn't giving up on his dream to become a police officer. Despite this experience, Singh Gill still is holding out hope he will be able to write that exam.
So, Danny, do police have anything else to say on this?
Well, John, we asked police a couple follow-up questions. First, to confirm if on-duty Winnipeg police officers are allowed to wear a kirpan, and second, if a civilian visiting headquarters to file a police report or attend to another matter would be asked to remove their kirpan. And while we don't have answers to those questions just yet, a spokesperson tells us they are working on getting us a response. We'll update you once that comes in.
Thanks, Daniel. A Manitoba highway was closed for a short time this afternoon after a plane landed on it. RCMP say officers from the Powerview Detachment were called to the scene on Highway 304 shortly after noon. Photos show a small plane sitting in the middle of the road with a backlog of traffic on each side. The Transportation Safety Board says the flight left St. Andrews Airport destined for Red Sucker Lake with 1 pilot and 6 passengers on board. It experienced an engine problem but managed to land safely. There were no reported injuries and no damage to the aircraft. Police are once again appealing for information related to an outstanding suspect in a fatal shooting at a soccer game in 2024. The shooting, which took place in the parking lot of the soccer complex on Waverly Street in July of that year, claimed the life of 22-year-old Mohammed Yusuf Abdullah. Around 100 people were in the parking lot when the gunfire broke out. The shooting is believed to be targeted. 2 men were later arrested. But investigators are still trying to track down a third suspect, 23-year-old Tresnor Hurambeyer. He's described as being around 120 pounds, 5 feet 8 inches tall, with a slim build. Police say that he may be traveling throughout the country. He's facing a charge of first-degree murder and is considered armed and dangerous. There's also a $100,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. Reaction is pouring in tonight following the city's announcement yesterday that the Pan Am pool will close for major renovations. It's a project that will knock the main pool out of commission for 16 months, with work expected to start in January of next year. CTV's Joseph Bernacki spoke with people who use the pool and will soon need to find a new place to swim and dive for an extended period of time.
John Webster loves to swim. He comes to St. James Centennial Pool every week. When he's not at St. James, he'll take a dip at Pan Am Pool. But the days of paddling at Pan Am will be halted for an extended period of time.
The loss of a pool like the Pan Am is really going to be difficult to take. And it's a shame that although it's a double-edged sword, it's getting renovated, but at the same time, why did we let it get to this condition in the first place as opposed to regular maintenance programs?
For 60 years, the Pan Am Pool has served swimmers in the province. It was built and named for the 1967 Pan Am Games. Starting January 18, 2027, the facility will undergo extensive renovations and concrete repairs on the main tank and diving platforms. The project is expected to take 16 months.
We really value this facility. We know the community values this facility. So we appreciate their patience while we do this work. It's really critical to extending the life of the facility and making sure it's here for generations to come.
Sawatsky says the project was approved back in 2021 as a $6 million fund. Portions of the indoor training complex for divers will stay open on the second floor. Despite the city saying the repairs are necessary, aquatics groups are concerned over the impact this temporary closure will have on their athletes in training.
It could potentially be devastating to all aquatic sports in the province. It's heartbreaking that there's going to be a loss in numbers across all the sports, and we're going to have to do our best to keep kids in the pool and participating.
Josh Colden coaches the St. James Seals, one of the busiest clubs for young Manitoba swimmers. He says his club trains at Pan Am almost every day. This closure adds to their stress, as the club has been without their main training facility since June 2025. The St. James Civic Center on Ness is also under construction.
We normally run at about 85 to 90 kids, and right now with the Civic Center being closed, we're down to 60. So learning about the Pan Am closure on top of what we're dealing with right now is devastating.
A spokesperson from the city says they anticipate St. James reopening in the fall. As for Pan Am, the city hopes to have the rest of the facility reopen in March 2028.
Our effort will be to stagger pool closures and help groups get into other pools to accommodate their needs.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
It's the season Winnipeggers love to hate. Construction season. It's now officially underway.
The season is intense because we have a short window of time.
The city has budgeted just under $157 million for street improvements this year. It includes street and sidewalk renewal, as well as active transportation infrastructure. In all, crews will be working on 175 kilometers of roads, 50 sidewalks, and 15 kilometers of bike lanes or active transportation pathways.
We know that construction season can be frustrating. Nobody likes detours, lane reductions, or orange cones. But of course, every one of these projects is about improving how people move around our city, whether they drive, bike, walk, or take transit.
Some of the projects being highlighted by the city include bike lanes on Edmonton Street, Phase 2 of Northwest Hydro Corridor, and the Lagimodiere Twin Overpass rehabilitation. Progress is also expected this summer on the Arlington Bridge. The city says all scheduled projects have already started or will start shortly. You can find interactive maps and timelines for the work on the city's website. CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us now with a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. And does it look like it's going to be a warm Mother's Day weekend?
Well, put it this way, we should crack double digits, which is great, all things considered, after the week we've had. It will be sunny here in Winnipeg, especially on Sunday for Mother's Day. Just a little bit cool for this time of year, but overall it should be a lovely weekend. It's a bit of a soggy start to the weekend if you're in the southwest. It's raining right now in Brandon and surrounding areas. It's been sunny here in Winnipeg, but my goodness, those northwest winds, once again, pretty strong here in the city. They will continue, at least for now. I'll show you when they will subside. And of course, a look ahead to your weekend forecast and a pretty big warm up on the way sometime next week. I'll show you when that happens as well. Let's take a look right now through the CTV Live Eye. It is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, under a mix of sun and cloud, it is 14 degrees. But look at those winds. Northwest winds 37 kilometers an hour with gusts up to 46. The pressure is dropping, and the humidity right now, John, is 17%.
Thanks, Colleen. Manitobans who rent their homes may soon get government checks in the mail instead of a credit on their income tax returns. Premier Wab Kinew says the province is planning to revamp the Renters Affordability Tax Credit and pay it out in checks every 3 months. He says this will allow renters to get the money earlier and more frequently than waiting for tax season. The tax credit is currently worth up to $625 a year, and a bill now before the legislature would boost it to $675. Kinew says there are no plans to politicize the checks by putting his face or signature on the mail envelope. Well, you may have noticed an item in your mailbox inviting you to answer questions about yourself. The 2026 census is out, and Canadians are required by law to fill one out. The deadline is May 12th. CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. So, Jeff, why should people complete this population survey?
To ensure key services and infrastructure land in your neighborhood, plus not doing the census could cost you. Manitobans are being told to make themselves count by filling out the federal 2026 census. 17 million invitation letters across Canada are in mailboxes now.
Answered all the questions and pushed the button and sent it in.
I got it and completed it. Conducted every 5 years, the online census is done to count the population based on your normal place of residence. Due May 12th, 3/4 receive a short form, the rest a long form.
Oh, it doesn't take long.
Well, I started it online, but I found it quite long, so I used a choice to stop and continue later on.
Not everyone may be keen. Some may have questions about handing over personal information.
So then where does it all go back to? Like, where do all of this information, where does it go?
Statistics Canada says legally only their employees are privy to the information, and it's encrypted to the highest standard. The data collected shapes political ridings and constituencies and helps governments decide where to build hospitals, police and fire stations, and schools.
All of these core services of government need to be placed where people live.
And where those people live can determine where government money flows. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities estimates for every census not filled out, a local government loses out on $1,500.
So they might have to increase your taxes if they don't get that money from the federal government. So it's in people's interest, I believe, to fill out census.
New this year, questions on homelessness in an attempt to tackle the problem plaguing many cities.
A sheltered homeless person on census night, which is next week, May 12th, should be counted at their shelter.
If all of that is not enough motivation, you are required by law to fill it out or face a potential fine up to $500.
Oh, really? Well, you better pass me one right now. Where do I get it?
Short form has around a dozen questions, the long form 70, but not all questions pertain to everyone who gets one.
So, Jeff, what happens if you don't fill it out? Will that person be fined right away?
No, it doesn't sound like it. After the due date, StatsCan says it will send out reminders to those who haven't filled out the census. Finally, StatsCan workers will go door to door in June to help those people who have not completed it. And if you aren't savvy online, you can get a paper copy. But once all of that is exhausted, if you don't comply, you absolutely could be fined.
Thanks, Jeff. Well-known PC MLA Jeff Worden has decided not to run in the next election. Worden was first elected to the legislature in 2016 as part of the campaign that swept Brian Pallister and the PCs to power. He was re-elected in 2019 and then again in 2023. During his time in government, he held several cabinet portfolios, including municipal relations, economic development, and environment minister. However, Worden's time in office wasn't without controversy. Manitoba's ethics commissioner found Worden, along with former Premier Heather Stephenson and former Deputy Premier Cliff Cullen, tried to push through a controversial silica sand mining project after the Tories lost the 2023 election, but before the new NDP government was sworn in. He was fined $10,000. The PCs plan to hold a nomination meeting for a new candidate in Red River North in due course. Well, a heads up if you're planning to go and be around the community of St. Lazare on Wednesday. Manitoba Hydro says it and some other agencies will be there simulating a natural gas pipeline emergency for training purposes. You're likely to see Manitoba Hydro equipment along with emergency vehicles and personnel near Highway 41, but don't be alarmed, there is no danger. You're asked not to approach the vehicles or crew. The Manitoba Children's Museum is getting a funding boost to support programming and outreach for children.
What children experience in their early years shapes how they learn, how they imagine possibility, and how they see their place in the world.
Today, the province announced $500,000 for the Winnipeg facility. The funding will help the museum with its revitalization plans, expand exhibits, and enhance programming designed to inspire children. The museum currently has a dozen permanent galleries, along with multiple temporary exhibits. Well, still to come tonight, fuel price spikes are trickling down.
By and large, we're looking at a 50 to 60% increase.
How the rapid rise in diesel prices is impacting the trucking sector and what it means for the goods that you rely on. That story when we return. Manitoba recorded the lowest unemployment rate in the country last month. According to Statistics Canada, the rate in our province dropped 0.6 of a point to 5%. That is well below the 6.9% national average, which ticked up slightly in April as the country shed some 112,000 jobs. Turning to the markets now, crude oil added 61 cents. The loonie fell to just above 73 cents U.S. Gold futures closed $19 higher. The TSX added 221 points. The Dow Jones posted a small gain, while the Nasdaq jumped 440 points. A majority of Manitobans would like to see the provincial gas tax scrapped, paused, or reduced. An online Angus Reid survey found 20% of Manitobans want the gas tax gone. Another 19% say it should be paused until September, while another 19% want it cut in half until then. Canadians in the lowest income households were the most likely to want the change. The survey of just over 2,300 respondents from the Angus Reid Forum was conducted from April 24th through to the 28th. Some new details tonight about the 2 Ontario passengers who were on board a ship where a hantavirus outbreak occurred. As CTV's Siobhan Morris reports, they're now back home under observation.
Somewhere in the southwestern Ontario counties of Grey and Bruce, 2 people are hunkered down at home, isolating after an unforgettable cruise.
They're not cases, they're contacts from the ship, and I just want to assure everybody they have no symptoms at present.
Ontario's top doctor says 2 people from the same household are being monitored for 45 days. They arrived back in Ontario 2 weeks ago, getting daily calls from their local public health unit.
We'd ask them if they are developing any fever, malaise, muscle aches, joint aches, respiratory symptoms.
These passengers were on dry land before the hantavirus outbreak was flagged. Even if they were exposed to someone with the virus,
it doesn't necessarily mean that you will, at 100% likelihood, get the infection. It all depends on the nature of the exposure, how susceptible you are to picking it up.
Dr. Moore understands the anxiety a lot of people are feeling with a global pandemic in our recent memory.
It's low risk for Ontarians, but we're prepared. We're monitoring this.
And unlike COVID-19, we're not dealing with a mystery virus, but one that's been well studied for 3 decades. There's expertise to draw on from nations used to dealing with hantavirus.
We know that it has very limited spread between humans. Argentina has shared with us their protocols, their policies, their recommendations.
Ontario is also taking Argentina's advice on how to care for the people in isolation if they do get sick. It involves limiting their contacts in the healthcare system to make sure infection doesn't spread. Siobhan Morris, CTV News, Toronto.
In the Middle East, the fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran was thrown into further jeopardy today. American forces attacked 2 Iranian oil tankers, hitting their smokestacks and knocking the vessels out of commission. It happened after both sides exchanged fire in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. says it was enforcing its blockade as the ships were attempting to pull into an Iranian port. The Americans are still waiting for Tehran's response to their latest peace proposal. Meantime, the U.S. says it will facilitate 2 days of talks between Israel and Lebanon next Thursday and Friday. A ceasefire has been in place since April 17th, but fighting has continued. Lebanese officials say Israeli airstrikes killed at least 5 people today. Hezbollah fired rockets on northern Israel. There were no casualties. We've seen dramatic increases in diesel prices since the start of the war with Iran, and it's having an expensive impact on the trucking industry. The more expensive the fuel is, the more that cost is being passed on to consumers. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has more.
Peter McLean has been a commercial long-haul trucker for 30 years. He proudly delivers products on a daily basis.
Like, people seem to think that stuff shows up on their shelves. They don't realize it's got to come in by truck.
Most of these trucks run on diesel. The cost to fill up this 18-wheeler is getting more expensive each week.
And it's like $1,600.
Since the start of the war with Iran, the global oil supply has been disrupted, and diesel has jumped in price dramatically.
By and large, we're looking at a 50 to 60% increase.
When McLean drives from Ontario to Nova Scotia, filling his truck gets pricier in each province because of different tax structures.
Whatever it's showing here, it's usually about 15 cents different, 15 to 20 cents different.
Many of these trucks are on the road every day, fueling up and shipping products between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. According to the Atlantic Provinces Trucking Association, 90% of all foods consumed and manufactured materials used in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick are transported by trucks traveling between the 2 provinces.
That's about 2,500 trucks a day pass through that stretch of highway, moving $35 billion in goods per year.
Chris McKee says trucking companies use fuel surcharges to recover lost revenue.
These costs are passed along the supply chain.
Which means as diesel prices climb, farmer Josh Olton is now spending more money on essential materials.
We're expecting between 30 and 40% increase in fertilizer price.
It's also happening in other sectors,
including agricultural, the petrochemical industry, plastics.
Fuel analyst Carol Montroy expects the trend to continue into the summer unless the war with Iran ends, which could put a stop to escalating fuel prices. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Enfield, Nova Scotia.
3 hikers are dead after a volcano in Indonesia erupted.
I hope they're alive.
A video shows tourists trying to get off Mount Tukono. Plumes of ash could be seen rising 10 kilometers into the sky. The 3 victims were part of a group of 20 hikers who were climbing the volcano despite safety warnings. There's been a major cyber attack targeting post-secondary schools around the world, including several here in Canada. 9,000 schools worldwide were targeted. The attack was against Canvas Cloud, a digital platform used to store course materials, manage grades, and submit assignments. It's not clear what data may have been accessed, but it's possible student names, emails, and student IDs were compromised. Hockey fans will soon get the chance to own some unique Winnipeg Jets memorabilia. True North Sports and Entertainment says the home dressing room is getting a complete overhaul just in time for next season. And with that, it's auctioning off the stalls on eBay. True North says each stall is autographed and will include the player's nameplate as well as a certificate of authenticity. The auction is currently open and closes on May 17th. Upgrades to the dressing room include a new medical treatment and therapy area and a tunnel straight to the visiting team's bench. True North says this is the first time the locker room is being upgraded since the team returned in 2011.
The Forks alone has seen this happen at least 3 times in the last year.
A new scam to be aware of, especially if you have fresh produce for sale. We'll explain how it works and how you can protect yourself when we return.
And sunshine on Sunday for Mom on Mother's Day, a high of 12 degrees. Overall, a lovely day. Temperatures should be a little warmer, though, closer to around 18 for this time of year. We'll get closer to that on Monday, although we'll lose the sunshine in the afternoon, 17 degrees. By Tuesday, 13. There is the chance of showers. Otherwise, it will be on the cloudier side. Sunny and 21 on Wednesday, 23 on Thursday with a mix of sun and cloud with a low chance of some showers.
Farmers markets are a way to check out local vendors and connect with community. But it appears a scam email targeting vendors is making the rounds. They're asking for an advance payment to secure a spot in an event, when in fact the event itself doesn't exist. CTV's Harrison Shin explains.
It's a place of community connection. The Forks is a Winnipeg landmark for everyone, including vendors of pop-up or farmers market events. Yet, their name was tainted by a targeted scheme.
There's 2 ways that these scams are happening. Either folks are saying that they're hosting an event here at the Forks and it's not a legitimate event that we have sanctioned, or they're tapping into the events that we are hosting and saying that they are wanting to get vendor fees sent to them.
In a blog post on Tuesday, the Forks said an email went out inviting vendors to a farmers market. The event, they added, does not exist, and this isn't the first time. Another email went around offering spots for an Easter weekend pop-up market, inviting vendors to fill out an application form, and in that form, vendors had to choose pricing ranging from $250 to $800, and they had to pay within 48 hours if approved.
We don't want to see anyone getting scammed. These events are really great. Great people are putting them on, and it does a lot of good for the community and the vendors.
It's not just the Forks being targeted in scams. St. Norbert Farmers Market Executive Director Danielle Mondor says this is a nationwide problem.
We even get emails to be a vendor at in other provinces for markets that don't exist.
CTV News reached out to Winnipeg Police to see if there's any reported case of such scam. We did not hear back in time. Both St. Norbert Farmers Market and the Forks are advising the public to check their websites for legitimate information, and if there's any doubt, email to verify. Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A reminder now, the city's annual curbside giveaway weekend is back. If you have any reusable items in need of a new home, you're encouraged to leave them on the curb with a free sticker or sign for someone else to pick up. As always, don't leave out anything infested with bed bugs or anything that may be unsafe, or toilets that use 13 liters or more per flush. All items should be cleared away by dusk on Sunday. And the city's annual compost giveaway began today and runs through the weekend. You can find it at 3 locations: the Summit Road landfill site, Kilcona Dog Park, and next to the Brady Road 4R Depot. There's a limit of 100 liters per vehicle, and you'll need to bring your own containers, shovels, and gloves. It's all made from the yard waste collected by the city last year.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch weather forecast. And Colleen, the weather was pretty spectacular today. The sun was shining and a lot of people were out enjoying it. And I guess not just people.
No, I was just going to say, not just humans out there enjoying the sunshine. Check out this viewer video that was sent to us. Turns out the turkeys are basking in the sunshine out in sunny St. James here in Winnipeg. This was out on Inglewood Street in St. James. So, yeah, they were enjoying the sunshine too. Hey, it's been a tough week waiting for the sun to finally come out and stay out all day long. For humans and for turkeys, apparently, as well. But those winds, they stayed strong and gusty here in Winnipeg out of the northwest, and that continues for now. They will ease up finally late tonight, but they will strengthen again tomorrow, and yes, from the northwest. If you are out in the southwest there, you saw there's some showers out in Brandon. Further off into the southeast, we've got clearing conditions now in much of northwestern Ontario. Dryden has had its fair share of clouds and various forms of precipitation this week. Nice to see the sun shining there. Speaking of Kenora, it's 12 degrees there, 14 in Winnipeg, 13 in Brandon. Warm day in Melita again, once again, the warmest place in Manitoba. I believe Melita got up closer to 18 degrees earlier today. 3 in Thompson, 0 in Churchill. Now, for that matter, we'll see this snow continue up in northern Manitoba. Basically, there's a decaying low that's sort of parked right over Hudson Bay, and it will continue to send light snow intermittently throughout the weekend across northern Manitoba at times, but mostly concentrated in the northeast. But tonight, as far west as Lynn Lake, you'll get some snow there. Meanwhile, we've got a few bands of rain passing through, just perhaps skimming the southwest corner of the province late tonight after those showers that are falling right now. Overnight, though, we clear out here in the south and east into northwestern Ontario. Meanwhile, that snow continues to fall across much of the northern half of the province. Accumulations won't be much. At most places like Gillam and Churchill might see 2 centimeters. That's the top end. We get into Saturday morning, some of that snow breaks up, but it's still coming down, as I mentioned, intermittently across parts of the north. The sun is shining on southern Manitoba. We'll see some clouds move in over the course of the day, but overall it will be a nice front end of the weekend. Fairly clear conditions for much of the south overnight Saturday into Sunday, and also even finally those flurries and light snow start to finally move out of most of the north by the time we get to Sunday morning. Mother's Day, nice day, temperatures in the double digits in the south, not where they ought to be for this time of year, but after the last few days we've had, I think we'll take it. 0 is our overnight low tonight. A few clouds, winds for the next few hours out of the northwest at 30, gusting to 50. They will diminish overnight. Tomorrow morning, still northwest winds, 20 under a mix of sun and cloud, 3 degrees up to a high of 11, still under that mix of sun and cloud. Winds strengthening somewhat in the afternoon, up to 30 kilometers an hour, but that's strong enough to feel them. Light snow and flurries tonight across the northeast over into Thompson. Thompson drops to -2 and goes to +2 tomorrow with light flurries continuing. Light snow tonight in Lynn Lake, likely to see some flurries in Norway House. And then tomorrow you'll see maybe rain showers mixing in with flurries or both in Norway House on the way to a high of 5 degrees. In the southwest tonight, we have those showers coming through now through Brandon. Those will end this evening. You drop down to -1 there. Tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud in Brandon, Neepawa, Dauphin up to 11. Little cloudier and 11 degrees in Swan River. Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, just a few clouds. Overnight lows hovering right around freezing. Sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud, highs of 10 and 11 degrees. And in northwestern Ontario, clear now in Kenora. It will get cloudy overnight. There's the chance of more precipitation in Dryden, although the chance is low. And then tomorrow, a cloudy Saturday with highs between 6 and 10 degrees. Our first weather photo takes us up to Norway House and a look out onto the Nelson River. That shot is from Gord, a great one there. Now, this one is from Gina. She took this at around 1 o'clock this afternoon, looking out onto Lake Winnipeg, out at Sandy Hook, and she said it reminded her of similar views when she visited Alaska. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Mother's Day is fast approaching. It's a day to shower the matriarchs in our lives with flowers, cards, and love. But a celebration of a different kind is also coming to our city for the very first time Sunday. And the guest list is pretty specific: motherless Manitobans.
You know, people give us puppy dog eyes when we say that we're creating an event on Mother's Day for people without moms, because they think that that's probably going to lean into the sad parts of these losses. But what we did year one, and we always do, is lean into the happy parts. It's not just a commemoration and an honoring of our moms, but it's the celebration of them.
Motherless Day is billed as a pity party you want to attend. It's an event for those who are grieving to honor the women who made them, the women they are now living without. It's the brainchild of the Parentless Club, whose co-founders host the annual meetups in both Toronto and Vancouver. Winnipegger Katrina Zaborski attended the event 2 years ago. She was so moved by the experience, she partnered with the group to bring the event to Winnipeg for the first time this year, and it quickly sold out.
It's really special. I hope that this community will provide a lot for these other people, and also so that they don't feel alone on a day that can feel very lonely.
We have a digital feature coming this weekend that delves deeper into Motherless Day and the many ways people who are grieving have found community and camaraderie during these sometimes difficult holidays. You can look for that tomorrow on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca.
A lot of people were turning to things like gambling, risky investments, crypto.
And that prompted him to come up with a digital solution to help folks save money. How his app aims to encourage people to look for savings and maybe even win a little money along the way. That's next. Watching friends gamble online or struggling to save money prompted a Concordia student to help create a new app. It makes a game of saving money, and it's free to use. Christine Long explains.
Whether it's for security.
A finance and computer science grad, Benjamin Thomas is also a self-proclaimed savings nerd.
I love learning about investing, saving money, credit cards.
Together with McGill students Luke Frund and Ari Mendikov, he founded Lodavo, a savings app to help change the way this generation thinks about money.
A lot of people were turning to things like gambling, risky investments, crypto, and unfortunately some of them losing money through those. I wanted to build an app where we can motivate people and steer them in the right direction towards building better savings habits.
Lodavo is simple. Combine the goal of saving money with the chance to win prizes.
And so we were able to integrate that technology into our app to allow users to securely connect their existing bank accounts. They can then track their savings progress every week through our app without ever moving their money.
The more the user saves, the more tickets they earn, and those tickets pay out weekly cash prizes that come from partnerships, collaborations, promotional campaigns, and even the founder's personal funds.
Think of it like a game. It's an app where instead of wasting your time scrolling, our generation calls it brain rot. You can spend your time on this app and hopefully learn some more. We have daily savings tips, for example.
Lodavo launched a few days ago and already has 100 users.
We also had a wait list of about 1,000 people who signed up across Canada.
The app is free on the App Store, and its founders are planning to expand.
Bring this to as many Canadians as possible, and we have really exciting plans in the future. We'd love to partner with a financial institution, offer other sort of products, and really expand what we're offering.
So more people can get excited about their possible savings. Christine Long, CTV News.
AI is helping in the treatment of a certain form of breast cancer. It's all thanks to new research out of Dalhousie University. Here's Emma Convey.
Dr. Paola Marignani has dedicated her research to a specific form of breast cancer.
Years ago, we discovered that in one of the more aggressive forms of breast cancer, HER2-positive breast cancer, that there was a specific type of protein that was not doing its job. And this protein is called LKB1. And we were trying to understand why in HER2-positive breast cancer this protein was missing.
So they mimicked this in mice.
And then we came up with different drug combinations to try and stop the tumors from forming. And to our surprise, it actually worked, and the tumors stopped growing.
In 2022, the team received $250,000 from the Breast Cancer Society of Canada to start testing on humans.
We've taken the tumor and we've separated out all the individual cells of a tumor. So each individual tumor cell is actually deep dive next generation sequencing for each cell.
In 3 years, they discovered what genes are involved in early detection and possibly why the cancer returns. Artificial intelligence has been key in advancing the research.
Rather than looking at 500,000 tumor cells, we can look at 2 to 3, 4, 5 million tumor cells at a time because we're now using machine learning.
Digital researcher Giles Crouch says AI is helping speed up research.
cancers all have patterns in our bodies, no matter where we get the cancer. So that's what it's doing. It's looking for those patterns and looking for the anomalies, because we've got lots of scans of healthy bodies and then we've got unhealthy bodies. And that's what it's doing. It's comparing.
Back at the lab, this team needs more funding and time to further their work.
The next stage would be to create these new animal models based on the one we've already done and test new compounds, small molecules.
While AI has helped to move them forward and their findings are promising, they're still years away from their end goal. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
I mean, I'm amazed. These musicians are amazing.
Ending the season in style. Who's been brought in to perform a tribute to some legendary artists? Spotlight is next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Las Vegas headliner Terry Fader.
The Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra's season is coming to a dramatic close this weekend with a show honoring two musical greats, Mozart and Shostakovich. The show begins with Mozart's Clarinet Concerto in A major, which will be played by the principal clarinet of the Los Angeles Philharmonic.
I mean, I'm amazed. These musicians are amazing. This is the first time for me to play, not first time in Canada, but first time in Winnipeg. And the level is fantastic. I can't wait for tomorrow night.
The performance then takes on Dmitri Shostakovich's Stalin-era work, Symphony No. 5. The show kicks off Saturday at 7:30 p.m. at Centennial Concert Hall, and it's back for its final bow on Sunday at 2 p.m. Well, here's a look at just some of the events taking place in Manitoba this weekend. Manitoba Day is May 12th, but the Mennonite Heritage Village is celebrating a little early with a full day of activities, history, and cake. Science Rendezvous is at the University of Manitoba. The Winnipeg International Jewish Film Festival is marking 25 years. Okamic Marsh is holding a wildflower sale and afternoon tea. The Hood and Dagger Theatre puts a spin on Sherlock Holmes with its new play, Miss Holmes. Canadian country singer Gord Bamford plays a pair of shows in Verdun and Steinbach. Brandon violinist James Ennis joins the Manitoba Chamber Orchestra. And Manitoba Metal Fest is marking its 20th anniversary. You can find a full list of events this weekend on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Well, organizers have confirmed performances of AI-generated actors will not be eligible for Golden Globe Awards.
Don't fear the dead, and don't fear me.
The new restrictions come after an AI version of the late Val Kilmer was unveiled for an upcoming action film, As Deep as the Grave. The guidelines will not automatically disqualify performances that have used AI to enhance an actor, such as de-aging or visual modifications, but a live human must be the main element. AI actors were also ruled out of Oscars contention earlier this week. Tonight's primetime lineup kicks off with Celebrity Jeopardy at 7. Happy's Place and Children Ruin Everything follow at 8. Then catch Boston Blue at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
A special celebration, the milestone being marked today at the Convalescent Home of Winnipeg.
Women's clothing provided by RW and Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Tonight, a triple murder rattles an Ontario community.
Just puts a bad feeling in your stomach.
The personal connection between the suspect and victims found inside the home. We'll have that story and more later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
14 degrees in Winnipeg, a little bit more cloud than sun. Winds out of the northwest at 37 kilometers an hour with wind gusts up to 46. Those winds will diminish in the next few hours. 15 was the high temperature this day a year ago. 27 degrees. Is that a record? Nowhere close. 35 degrees on this day in 1874. Tonight we drop down to 0, a few clouds. Saturday, mix of sun and cloud, 11 degrees. Sunny on Mother's Day Sunday and a high of 12 degrees. 17 Monday, a little cloudier in the afternoon. Chance of showers Tuesday. Tuesday, 13. But John, look at Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures in the low 20s, 21 Wednesday in the sun, 23 degrees on Thursday.
Wow, that's a lot to celebrate. And there's a lot to celebrate at the convalescent home of Winnipeg, including a very special birthday.
She's 110, yes. As of this morning, it's crazy.
You heard that right. Mildred Giesbrecht is celebrating her 110th birthday today with her family and other residents at the care home. Mildred was born on May 8th, 1916 in the town of Gretna. Her son Greg tells us that she was married in her early 20s to a school teacher and had 2 children. While Greg credits water for her longevity, she drinks up to 24 ounces a day. He also says staying active and busy helped.
And being friendly to people and encouraging, and of course my sister and I have benefited a lot by her example.
At 110, Mildred is one of the oldest living Canadians and Manitobans. And she's not the only one celebrating a milestone this year at the convalescent home. The long-term care facility itself is marking its 120th anniversary. Incredible, and a very happy birthday.
Happiest of birthdays.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to be back at 11:30. Hope you can join us then. Good night.